That wasn't too hard. I haven't been here in a while. What do you want to tell me, friend?
I'll be first. You'll see.
Slow down. You'll get your clothes all dirty.
That kid, it's me. My mother thought I'd lost my mind. So did Liga, I guess. And that, as we know, didn't happen until much later. I didn't remember that Aboritsa was there too. He must have been. After all, he'd laughed at me later for wetting my pants. It was my birthday. Was it then that you chose me? What do you want to tell me, friend?
Victor, hurry. We'll be late for Mass.
Victor, do you think that when you have a husband, you have to argue with him?
I suppose so. I don't want a husband.
You don't have to get one, but I'm worse off. Grażynka says that when I grow up, she'll find me a husband.
I remember that. The last Sunday before Father stopped taking us to church. Because of me. I accidentally touched the priest's stele as he passed us with the censer. That was the first time when I felt another person's thoughts, their intentions. I heard the words of someone's confession that the priest was thinking about. It was like they were directed at me. And I didn't falter to share them with the rest of the congregation. Mother didn't manage to stop me, and my indiscretion caused the prominent marriage to fall apart. My parents' marriage not long after. What do you want to tell me, friend?
You'll put me in an early grave.
Duh, because it's always the woman's fault when a man starts getting certain notions.
I'm the head of this family, and I deserve respect.
Father, can Abauretze come with us to the sea?
Out of the question. Holidays are to be spent with family, with loved ones, not with servants. Listen, boy. You'll be the head of this family someday, and you have to understand that family is the one thing you can always rely on. Especially since you're a Temperomancer. Others will rob you, kill you, or even worse, ruin you. You should keep your friends close, but never behind your back. And your enemies you should keep even closer, next to your heart. Because only then will they not surprise you.
Rarely did I see my father so furious. He thought that a trip to the once Polish Baltic Sea would improve his chilly relations with Mother. I really didn't want to go. I preferred to play with Abauretze in the streets of Praga. Mom wasn't disappointed that we stayed either. I didn't want to step on Father's toes again, so I asked Ligia to make a scene. Like she did when Grażynka tried sending her to bed and she wanted to keep reading. I didn't even have to persuade her much. I wondered if it was the power of the twin bond or if I manipulated her subconsciously back then. Now I know I couldn't do it without forming our pact, but if that's the case, what were you doing here? What is it?
There, it's Shulsky, our mighty good chum.
Victor! Good to see you!
These two shivs claim you know each other. Is that true?
It depends what they did.
Well, just a stroke of rotten luck.
I asked you a simple question. Yes or no?
Yes, I know these noble gentlemen.
Well then, I guess we'll take in 3 instead of 2.
Go on! Thanks, magician. Good thing we kidnapped you back then.
You're not the schmuck you pretend to be.
You're welcome. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I see you went to a barber. That's something at least.
Recently I met a bearded guy who's not especially fussy about his appearance. And yes, people welcome him everywhere with open arms anyway.
Maybe he's a natural charmer. I've heard that can get you into the Imperial even without a tailcoat.
Very funny.
Are you getting dressed so we can go, or have you changed your plans?
Yes, let's go and see if I do fit in.
In that case, I'll go get changed too. Look at you. And here I worried I was the only one who looked good in trousers. Very chic choice.
Thank you. You look fantastic.
Thank you. You think Papa would be mad that we're going to a party right after his funeral?
I hope so.
Victor.
He could have kept from losing the Black Grimoire. Are we ready?
Yes, the carriage is waiting.
Welcome to the Imperial Hotel. How may I help you?
Ligia Szulska, here on the invitation of Svetlana Rumiantseva.
Yes, we are expecting you, of course. The soiree is taking place in apartment 237, second floor. I wish you a thrilling and successful evening.
I'm impressed. How did you sort that out?
Our name still means something. Let's do our best to keep it that way, all right?
Who are you, my golden slithering friend?
Victor? Victor. Victor! Can you hear me?
Yes. Of course.
These people are just waiting for us to put a foot wrong, understand? We're walking into the Viper's Den, brother.
Everything's all right. I just got a little lost in thought. I'll be good, I promise. I'm going to hang around here a little longer. I'll meet you upstairs.
See you there.
Well, well, someone new.
Good evening.
Good evening, Viktor Szulski.
Irina Orlova of those Orlovs. This is Natalia Obolenskaya, and this strangely quiet soul is our delightful Sofia Skawan.
Irina is exaggerating. Nice to meet you, Mr. Szulski.
The Governor General's daughter herself. How do you do?
What can you tell us?
How are you enjoying yourselves?
We can't complain. Seeing as we're debutantes, we're getting a lot of attention.
Really?
Maybe you'll tell us something about yourself.
I've heard a certain secret. Do you want to hear it?
Come now, we won't tell anyone.
Or maybe I shouldn't.
Do you like being a tease?
Forgive me, ladies, for teasing you like this. Here's the secret.
Come on, we're dying to know.
Someone was recently playing with a lock on one of the gilded cages, wondering what would happen if all the birds escaped captivity. And I know for certain it was one of you.
Sophia, that sounds like you. Admit it.
And now what will happen to us, Mr. Shulsky?
In exchange for my discretion, I need another secret of yours. That's the only way to keep everyone in check.
What should I choose?
Our fathers don't know we're here. There you are.
How naughty. None of your fathers know?
None, especially not Sophia's. Otherwise, he wouldn't have let her come.
I'm very satisfied with this trade.
And what now?
I suspect you want to hear more about the book.
We've never met a Thaumaturgist before. To tell the truth, I didn't believe they existed.
A Thaumaturge. Don't worry. But now you do.
That trick with the cage, you've impressed me.
I need to slip away for a moment.
We should go as well. We've really forgotten ourselves around you.
That's nice to hear, but I understand. The soiree won't wait.
I hear Rumyantseva has invited a real medium.
Will there be ghosts? That I'd like to see.
What did we come here for? These soirees are for old people.
Good evening. May I?
Please, we're not discussing anything consequential.
You keep on worrying about yourselves. I intend to make the most of this evening.
See, I told you he was in love. Miss Scowan is out of your league, my friend.
To say nothing of her father.
Old Scowan and I are practically on first-name terms now. You'll see.
I'm sure.
So, one eye-catching girl has already got an admirer. What does that leave us, Maxime?
Not much. The dull, the silly, or, well, the old.
En parlant de Ligia Shulska, she just passed this way.
Pigs will fly before someone fancies her.
She'd actually prefer Sophia Scowan, according to what I've heard. Well, what do you think?
My name is Viktor Shulsky.
Well, there we have it.
And I don't like what I just heard, especially about my sister.
And, what are you going to do about it?
Pardon me, gentlemen. I promised that I would be well behaved tonight.
Lunatic.
Mr. Shulsky.
I didn't expect to see you here, of all places.
You don't know how very flattering that is. And what brings you to the Imperial?
I could ask you the same question.
I'm passing the time.
Ah, curious hobby.
I'm simply interested in people.
A doctor, thaumaturge, or policeman could say the same.
Your interest flatters me. Who knows? Maybe the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree, and someday we'll even be friends.
How well did you know my tree?
We enjoyed talking and lending one another a hand.
Who did you say you were to my father?
A trusted acquaintance. I supported him with good advice, though truth be told, he rarely needed it. Your father had a gift for making good decisions.
Which of my father's decisions would those be?
Ones that were good for your family. Perhaps we'll have the chance to return to this another time. Goodbye, Mr. Shulsky.
Yes, I'm sure. Thaumaturge never fails me. There is something here.
Maybe that's enough. What do you want?
The trick with entering someone's head. I know one person who can do that.
You're not much of a thaumaturge if you can't. Have you come here to torment me? Unmask me?
I don't see any fun in unmasking you.
So what do you want?
I think your idea of pretending to be a medium is fantastic.
It sounds like I impress you.
How many people know?
Is that a threat?
Your Siren is quite impressive.
Flattery will get you nowhere.
Madame, you're being impolite. What about a little competition? We'll see who wins.
I'll pass.
I noticed a wild saluter here. I understand your being here has something to do with him in particular.
Keep your nose out of this.
Why?
Because I'm warning you.
What do you know about this saluter? Do you know its name?
Don't you?
A name doesn't tell us much anyway. All that matters is picking out the person in this crowd with the flaw.
I know perfectly well who carries the flaw. Another reason for you to stay out of it.
That's not such a ladylike tone, madame. Maybe we should just let the best one catch that saluter.
You mean yourself?
The person with the flaw attended the séance, right? So I'm on the right track.
Have you finished?
So should we finish up?
That would be best. And listen to me carefully, Mr. Whatever your name is.
Shulsky, but you can call me Victor.
Now, Mr. Shulsky, you will vanish like a bad dream, and I will get back to work.
Here you are.
Gentlemen, meet my brother.
Viktor Szulski.
The last Szulski to wear trousers. You don't know that. Miss Ligia could yet produce an heir to the fortune.
Maybe even with me, if she doesn't tell my wife.
But let's talk like men. You intend to take over your father's company, correct?
Gentlemen, my sister knows what she's doing. Across the world, women rule over entire societies, like Great Britain. Do you remember Queen Victoria?
I suppose it's true what they say about you.
Yes? What's that?
You've lost your mind.
Thank you. I've worked long and hard at that.
Good luck with your business, miss.
I almost feel sorry for them.
Have I crossed the line?
Nonsense. You know, thank you for believing in me, especially in front of other people. It means a lot. Any progress with Svetlana?
I've taken a long, deep look at Samira. She's no medium. Samira is a Thaumaturge on the hunt.
On the hunt?
Madame has spotted a salutar that's attached to one of the guests.
What kind of salutar?
Remember those fairy tales Mother used to read us? And the legend of the golden snake?
Yes, Veles.
Yes, I'm glad you're here.
Are you also hunting for him?
I admit I like to have him. I haven't made up my mind.
Be careful.
I am. That's why I haven't made up my mind. You enjoying yourself in this viper's den?
Oh, the vodka is quite tolerable. I'm observing my own brother taking out his anger on ordinary mortals.
I don't know what you're talking about. Guess who I ran into again? All mysterious and carved up.
Ivan Konieczkin?
What do you know about him?
Not much. He was an acquaintance of Papa's. Well, in theory, it's thanks to him that we're here.
What? Ligia?
I know that nothing comes for free, but he really didn't want anything.
Yeah, he looks like a real altruist. Sofia Skawan, the Governor General's daughter. Do you know her?
No, and I don't suggest you make her acquaintance either. Skawan can't stand thaumaturges.
I'm going.
And the general says to him, "Tell us something funny." Then Bautski replies, "General, why don't you shoot a cannon first?"
That's a good one. I'll have to tell it tomorrow at the Orloffs. Who might this be joining our conversation?
You know, sir, your face looks familiar to me.
My name is Viktor Szulski.
Ah, yes, I can see something in your eyes. I was sorry to hear about your father.
I'll see you next time, darling. Wonderful party. See you there.
I think I've offended the creme de la creme of Warsaw.
This is hardly the creme de la creme. How do you find my soirée?
I admit I'm getting reacquainted with the social scene.
You spent a long time traveling, didn't you?
15 years. Over that time, I got used to harsher surroundings.
And believe me, drawing rooms can be just as dangerous as untamed steppes. You've met Anastasia and Marina. What about the others?
I've already met several distinguished guests. Madame Samira definitely stands out.
She is exceptional, isn't she? Her presence is the crowning glory of the evening. Has anyone else caught your eye?
Ivan Konieczkin, for instance. Apparently, he knew my father.
How remarkable. I wasn't aware. Konieczkin is something of a secretive person. And have you yet had occasion to meet the debutants of the season?
I'll be sure to seek them out.
This evening, Sofia Skowan herself is to grace us with her presence.
Well, well.
I suggest you move quickly. The competition is fierce.
How is it, being part of the Tsar's court?
It is a blessing and a curse. Forgive me if I do not elaborate.
The crux of the matter is that I'm here because of my father. You knew him.
That doesn't sound like a question. Of course, I was his customer. I truly am sorry for you, both of you. The death of someone close is always a dreadful blow. Please accept my condolences.
Svetlana Petrovna, I must insist. Can you tell me something more about my father?
Mr. Shulsky, I assure you we have the most delectable vodka. Besides that, I warmly encourage you to join Madame Samira's séance. It will be an unforgettable experience. I wonder, is that truly everything our soirée can offer you?
I've got no choice but to suffer through tonight.
No need to mince words.
I felt something. Where is it? I was looking for you.
Do you smoke, Mr. Shulsky?
I've quit.
In light of our approaching conversation, why don't we dispense with the pleasantries? Call me Svetlana.
Victor.
Ask.
You two had an affair.
Two grown-up, lonely people found momentary comfort in each other's arms. But romance wasn't behind that relationship. It was just that we were both looking in the same direction.
I didn't have the chance to get to know him as a person, much less one who'd show such emotion.
You mean love? That?
Was it love?
I miss him, that's all.
What do you mean by looking in the same direction? That large travel chest. You changed your mind.
About whether or not to pack. Right then, I wanted to escape badly, but that would have had its own consequences. In this game of false appearances, I'm the best.
The burned note. Who sent it? I only sensed underhanded kindness.
Da, the Ochrana. I don't know which one of them exactly, if that's what you're asking. I've worked hard at it.
The Ochrana?
It stands for Отделение по охранению общественной безопасности и порядка. In other words, the secret police.
I know what they are. I'd like to know what they want.
Knowledge. The Tsar's eyes and ears must be on guard. They infiltrate not only the city, but most importantly, the court. And me and my soirees too, I'm sure.
When did you receive this note?
A few weeks ago, back before your father.
I see. I still don't know how this lovely note ended up in your hands. But in addition, I found a lovely strings of pearls, and on it, your feelings of guilt.
Your power is terrifying. Do you know that?
Your feelings of guilt. Did they have something to do with the Romanov court?
With the whole empire. Ruski mir im podawaj. We, the establishment, perceive the need for change. We want reform. The Colossus is already teetering, but if it falls... La guillotine, mon chéri. But I want to live, Victor. Ideally, closer to the west.
Tsarina Alexandra gave you those pearls. You two are close.
I am her confidant. I could call her my friend. I see how much she devotes to her family and the nation.
Yet something has changed. Where was my father in all this?
Willingly or otherwise, he was part of the establishment that wanted change and could see revolution before it arrived.
The Ochrana knew about you, hence the note.
They must have noticed something. Isn't it time you told me why you really came to my soirée?
What do you intend to do now?
Nothing. The soirées will continue. Society has come to expect it. Everything will stay the same. I myself shall manage.
Do you think the Ochrana killed my father?
Your father was crushed by a building. I don't think that's how the Ochrana works.
Perhaps you're right. I hoped you might know something about the Black Grimoire. My father left it to me in his will, but the grimoire has gone missing.
No. And the collapsed building? Have you been there?
There's nothing there.
My dear boy, I know nothing about Stanisław's book. I'm sorry, but I can't help you there. But I will not let you leave empty-handed. I strongly believe that there's one place you ought to visit. What you find there belongs to you.
Thank you.
No, thank you for listening.